In the wake of Lucien Cross exposing the sabotage, the city's business world grew restless. Old alliances shifted like sand in a storm. Damien Voss tightened his grip on Heir Industries, and Vivian Heir began to sense that the power she had reached for might come at a higher cost than she imagined. Episode 9 begins as rivalries turn into open warfare. Dawn broke with a soft rain over the Cross corporate tower. Lucien stood in his office, no longer the humble analyst. The black onyx crescent earring caught the faint morning light as he looked over a new set of reports. They're accelerating their moves. Desperate men always overreach. Adrian Cross entered, tossing a slim folder on the desk. You were right. Damien's been leveraging his connections with 3 regional banks. They're trying to freeze your expansion project. Lucien nodding slightly. Then we move faster. We'll secure our own funding before they lock us out. Adrian sighed with a half smile. The family council will be watching closely now. Some of the old guard are already calling you the Black Crescent Heir. Let them. They'll see soon enough why I wear it. In a glass-walled boardroom high above the city, Vivian Heir reviewed the latest market reports. Her team celebrated the small dip in Cross Corporation stock after the sabotage scandal, but she barely heard them. Damien Voss entered with his usual confident stride. One strike isn't enough, Vivian. We need to go for the jugular. Take the shipping contracts they rely on and corner their supply lines. By the time they react, it'll be too late. Vivian, glancing at him, you make it sound simple, but Lucien isn't as easy to corner as you think. Damien chuckled dismissively. He's a man who rose from nothing. We're dealing with the Cross Corporation now, not Lucien Cross. Remember that. Vivian didn't respond. A part of her wanted to believe Damien's words, but she remembered how Lucien had calmly dismantled the sabotage attempt, and it left her uneasy. Later that afternoon, Vivian stepped out of Heir's main building to find her car waiting. A cluster of reporters, huddled under umbrellas, shouted questions about the growing rivalry between her company and Cross Corporation. Miss Heir, is it true you and Damien Voss are planning a hostile bid against Lucien Cross's new projects? Our focus is on innovation and growth. Rumors don't drive our strategy. As the reporters pressed closer, a sleek black sedan pulled up. The driver opened the door, and Lucien stepped out, calm as a still lake. For a moment, the world seemed to still. The rain fell in soft silver streaks between them as their eyes met. Lucien greeted her, quiet, polite. Vivian. Vivian, after a pause. Lucien. He gave a small, respectful nod before walking past her into the building for his meeting with a potential investor. She watched him go, her expression unreadable, but her fingers tightened slightly around her umbrella's handle. That evening, in a secure office at Cross headquarters, Lucien met with his core team. Charts and maps of shipping routes glowed on a large screen. Damien is betting on controlling the supply lines. We'll cut that strategy off by forming a direct alliance with the port authorities and the Independent Transport Guild. Secure them before Voss does. One of the team members answered, that'll shift leverage in our favor, but it means you'll have to reveal more of your influence. Then let them see. The Cross Heir isn't afraid of daylight. Adrian watched him with a proud but cautious expression. He could see the weight his cousin carried and how Lucien was slowly stepping fully into his role as a leader. Across the city, Vivian sat alone in her penthouse, scrolling through market reports on her tablet. Damien was on the phone in the other room, speaking in low, sharp tones to a foreign investor. Vivian's thoughts drifted. She remembered the early days of Heir Industries, when Lucien, as her ordinary boyfriend, would stay late to help her troubleshoot reports without being asked. He had been her quiet strength then, not the rival she faced now. Was I wrong? Vivian whispered to herself as Damien's voice interrupted her reverie. We've got them cornered, Vivian. Tomorrow's move will cut off their overseas suppliers. Vivian set the tablet down, staring out the window at the rain-streaked skyline. For the first time, the victory Damien promised felt hollow. The next day's headlines brought a shock to the markets. Cross Corporation forms historic alliance with independent port guilds. Supply lines secured, Cross expansion back on track. Damien Voss slammed his fist on the table in his office, furious. How the hell did he move that fast? His advisor stammered. We underestimated his network and his timing. Vivian entered the room, her expression carefully neutral, though a flicker of something, admiration or regret, flashed in her eyes. I told you, Damien, he's not the man you think he is. Later that night, Adrian visited Lucien's office. You've turned the tables again, Lucien, but you should know, there are whispers among the family elders. Some don't like how visible you're becoming. Lucien looked at Adrian, calm, with a faint smile. It's the Cross way, isn't it? To test the young until they prove themselves. Yes, but remember, some of them don't want you to succeed. They'd rather see the heir stumble. Lucien, turning to look out the window. Then I'll give them something worth remembering. In a city where power is the ultimate currency, the war between Cross and Voss had only begun. Lucien Cross had turned defense into offense, proving to the world and to his rivals that he was no longer a shadow behind another's throne. And as Vivian Hale watched the tides of influence shift, regret whispered a little louder in her heart, a whisper that Damien Voss could not silence. The battleboard battles would soon draw in even the most secret corners of the Cross family itself, and the next clash would test not only Lucien's brilliance, but his very place in the legacy of the Black Crescent.
Thank you for sharing this chapter with us at Velvet Chapters Brew. Comment, like, and subscribe to see where the next page takes us.